Hello, everyone, and welcome to our chatbot session with Jam Mayer, the wonderful Jam Mayer. Before I introduce you to her, I am Wanita, and we're with the Online Business Academy. We run a lot of training programs for business owners and agencies to help you get ahead in business. And we're getting so many questions about chatbots and whether they are right for your business. So we've invited our partner to the room, Jam Mayer, and she's going to talk to you and give you some information about chatbots, give you some examples, and by the end of this webinar, you should be able to make a decision as to whether they are right for your business. But at the end of the webinar, Jam is also going to make an offer to you so that if you do want to have chatbots done for you, she will be able to help you do that. Now, I've known Jam for a long time. She's an absolutely amazing person. She's the ambassador for Hootsuite here in New Zealand. She runs her own business, which is Conversology. So Jam, really excited. Jam does not only chatbots, but she runs a business that actually helps with social media posting every month. And she is a trainer for NZIE. So she's an exceptionally knowledgeable person. So Jam, welcome and thank you for your time. And
thank you.
Jam, I am going to let you get started because just a quick intro and let's get to the meat of it. Let's get into the presentation and let's wow these people. So the floor is yours, Jam.
Awesome. Floor is mine. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Wanita, I can't say anything more. That introduction was really awesome. Thank you so much. And Wanita is a very, very good friend of mine as well, and she has supported me through my journey and still supporting. We support each other, which is great. Okay, all right. Anyway, enough about me or us. So chatbots, the question is, are they right for your business? As Wanita has mentioned, a lot of people have been asking up to now, and I think even after a year from now, people will still ask how chatbots will work for your business. Just a little bit of a background on how I got started with chatbots, or at least I was thinking June 2013, I had this blog post on my website, obviously, and it says, goodbye email, hello social inbox. At that time, I was already thinking that, not to say that email is going to go away, but at that time I knew in the future soon, now fast forward to 2018, that is quite happening right now in terms of email, wherein I thought, or I sort of predicted and thought that, hey, email is going to kind of be not a good channel to deliver your message to your customers or to your audience. And we are seeing that now, obviously, as the new generation comes in, right? So that's another webinar session about millennials and Generation Z. I wonder what's next, Wanita, after Generation Z. That will be interesting, right? Go back to A.
Yeah, I was going to say we haven't A yet, so maybe.
Correct, yeah. All right, so just some awesome stats, because I appreciate that there are some people who love seeing graphs and statistics and stuff, so I'm going to put that in there. This is the latest Hootsuite report, and alongside with We Are Social, April 2018. It shows here the most active global social platforms. And it seems like Facebook is obviously number one. We've got over more than 2 billion people actively using it. YouTube is next, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger, and so on and so forth. The whole point of this slide is that what's happening with the trend is that people are now more on social networks, but more importantly, they are moving to chat apps, as they call it. So that's the WeChats, the Facebook Messenger is definitely number one, and WhatsApp is another one. So there's a whole more tools and messenger apps, so to speak, or chat apps out there. Now, a few more stats. This is specifically for New Zealand. January 2018, very, very recent report as well. It looks like, if you see the graph over there, Facebook Messenger is actually number 3. So imagine that. So YouTube and Facebook's close, about 1%, but Facebook Messenger is number 3. That just goes to show that New Zealanders are on this platform. So it is a great channel to actually deliver your messages. Now, just a few more. This is top messenger apps, as I mentioned, by country. So if you're not from New Zealand, you'll see all the blue colors are actually dominated by Facebook Messenger. The green one is WhatsApp. So I'm not very good with geography, Wanita, so I'm not sure, but definitely like Australia and New Zealand, or even the Philippines over there is all blue. So Facebook Messenger is definitely one of the channels that we should go to. This is a ranking of mobile apps being downloaded across all stores, Android, Apple, and so on. And again, Facebook Messenger is still there. My gosh. Now, the whole point of this thing is that, again, as I've said, you know, messenger apps are dominating the online scene, and it is way time for us to get onto this platform and do some marketing and streamline our processes. And that's, of course, with the use of chatbots. Now, this is, I just went through, I think this was a month ago, the customer summit here in Auckland. And this is interesting because it says 2018, this year is actually the year that millions of consumers start to feel it is possible to have a meaningful conversation with virtual entities. That's why everyone's talking about AI. Does that mean that we're going to be a lot of the AIs or robots is going to be, what's the word, Wanita? Not dominate, but we'll be walking in our streets and stuff? Not necessarily, at least not yet,
Yeah,
right?
I think that people in themselves, there's a whole debate on, you know, AI, and, you know, a lot of people are scared that it's going to take over their jobs, and things are going to be completely different. And yeah, so I think it's learning to embrace what works and what doesn't work, but making sure that it doesn't take over.
Yeah, exactly. Take over. All right. And the last bit says to entertain, educate, which is very useful. Yes. Heal and even befriend. So this is just sort of, I love this slide because if we're talking about chatbots, everybody thinks it's just for marketing, or more importantly, people think it's just for customer service. But I've seen some chatbots being used by nonprofit organizations as well to help, say, for example, keep you sober. So you don't drive when you're drunk, etc. Make sure that you get home safely, or even just to remind you to just drink, 8 glasses of water. I mean, they are very simple chatbots, etc., which are interactive, useful, functional. So it's not just necessarily for marketing or customer service. It has a lot of other use applications. Right. Okay. So why should you have a chatbot? I mean, really? Do we really have to jump in the bandwagon and just get a chatbot? Okay. So because by 2020, 2 years from now, the average person will have more conversations than their spouse. Cue laughter, hopefully, right? No, it's some people think it's a joke, but it's not. It isn't, because this is by Gartner, by the way, is one of the biggest research firms in the US. And the reason they said this is because obviously we converse with other people, etc. And now it is, instead of a human being, there is a possibility, a likelihood that we will be conversing with bots more to just go through our lives, right? Okay. My history is that in 2000, I think this was 2016, when I went to Inbound in Chicago, I was invited, yay, and attended. And Dharmesh, who's the co-founder of HubSpot, this was the first time I ever heard of chatbots. And he said, and this is my favorite slide, that in a world of messaging, you cannot buy a list. Because we're so used to, in terms of email, again, there's nothing wrong with email, but we know there are companies out there around the world that would basically tell you to buy a list, and then you can start spamming them using your email marketing tool. Right now, yes, there is a possibility you can spam people, but you cannot buy a list of like email addresses or chatbots, etc. Now, let's not talk about the Cambridge Analytica with Facebook and stuff, because you might go, no, Jam, actually, that's not true. So we'll leave that onto the side, and that's not what we're going to talk about. But the whole point here is that it is far probably easier for anyone to buy email addresses versus actually opting into a chatbot, right? Some more statistics. Email fatigue. This is definitely happening, and this is it is 2017, but this is the latest from SendGrid, about 50 billion. So that's a large sample size. Emails analyzed. And if you look at the numbers over there, let's just focus more on the unique open rate, which is 14.6%. That's pretty low, all right? Click rate, unique click rate is even lower. It's 1.7%, right? This is on average. So what's happening is that, and I'm sure all of you, I haven't spoken to anyone yet, not one who said, I love email and I love receiving all the emails and I open them every day, every single email, right? So it is starting. It's not starting, but it is happening. So it is harder now for email marketers or marketers like us to actually deliver or communicate our message to our leads, prospect, or customers, right? Now, Neil Patel. Oh, yes, Wanita?
Just a quick question. If you can go back to that slide, we have a question.
Sure.
Someone wants to know what is the difference between the open rate and the unique open rate.
Yep, no problem. Yep, cool. So unique, the open rate is basically every time when a person opens an email, then the tool says, okay, yep, Jam has opened an email, so that's 1, right? Now, when Wanita comes in and opens the email, then that means 2 people have opened it, right? So if you look at the numbers, 2 is the unique open rate, so 2 unique people, they've actually opened the emails. Now, if I open the email again, because that's possible, right? We go back to it and open it again and read it. And if I do it 2 or 3 more times, then obviously the number is going to be bigger. So that's the average open rate. So what we're really looking at, what's important, is the unique open rate. How many people have actually opened your email at least once? Hope that helps.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jan.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, Neil Patel, you can Google him. He's an influencer, and he is very credible in the SEO, actually, industry in that space. And he has always been known as someone who loves email and SEO and keywords and everything. So when someone told him, hey, here's chatbots, right? And I go, hey, Red, and they go, well, Neil, chatbots really great, open rate's really better and stuff. So he wasn't really convinced, but he said, okay, you know what, I love experimenting, etc. So if you look at this, you look at the numbers here, he is now convinced because there was an 88% open rate in his experiment. When he delivered his message to a chatbot, most especially, this is obviously for Facebook Messenger, and there is a 56% click-through rate. So if I go back to that, 1.7% click-through rate. Let's even look at 2.5 versus 56. An open rate of 88%, right? I mean, that's really, really far from 30 or even 14.6%. So just think about that. So someone who has always been into email and SEO and everything else, convinced, no problem. Awesome. HubSpot, by the way, is another big company, credible when it comes to marketing automation. That's inbound. That's where I went to in Chicago. And see, the question was, wait, hang on, Jam. There is SMS. You've got mobile marketing, which is SMS marketing as part of it, mobile marketing. And chatbots. I mean, I can just use SMS. I'm using it already, and it works because it's mobile. Why am I even going to invest in chatbots or Messenger? What if people are not on the social network, right? What HubSpot has said is that SMS messages just can't compete with chatbots nowadays, because in terms of interaction, right, people, it's more of a two-way street, so to say, a conversation. Because with SMS, it's more push, right? So you send 1,000 text messages to, say, 1,000 people, right? And then that's just a push one. You're just telling them, and you're giving them an announcement. So there's no two-way conversation. Unlike a chatbot conversation, you are expected to respond, right? So you are having that two-way conversation. Now, there's also SMS misery. It's expensive now to do SMS messaging. Why? Let's pretend you need to pay $1 per message that you need to send, and you've got 1,000 people, right? So imagine with one message, and this is like Twitter. I know Twitter is not 280 characters, but having said that, with one message, there is also a character limit, right? Because if you go over that, then they're going to charge you for 2 messages. Keep it simple. $1 per message. You send it out, one message to 1,000 people. That's $1,000. I don't think it's a dollar, but just for conversation's sake. So if you've got more subscribers, meaning more people to send to your message, which is push, then you have an increase in cost. That's the reality of it, right? For chatbots, on the other hand, it doesn't really matter. Yes, there are costs tied to it, the number of subscribers, but it's not per message. You can, not saying to spam them, but you can deliver the right messages to the right people who want it through a chatbot or Facebook Messenger without this super extra cost, right? This is basically the same slide saying about the conversation, as I've mentioned earlier. It's all about engagement, right? Especially in the social channels, right? Now, so my question is this happening to you, okay? So do you spend time answering the same questions? Second is, emails aren't being opened. You craft this wonderful email and you think it's perfect, or you hire a copywriter, for example, for $50 an hour or so on. Even if you go to Fiverr, for example, sure, it's a little cheaper, but no one even opens it. Not getting enough leads at all, because obviously no one's opening your emails, no one's just attending stuff, and difficult to do e-commerce. If you said yes to all of these 4, okay, or any of these 4, I should say, then I'm telling you, this is one of the solutions to make sure that your message is being communicated properly to your audience. Before I move on to the next one, I'm just going to pause. Wanita, are there any questions from the audience in terms of this slide, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or have you experienced any of these?
Jem, yeah, we've got people saying definitely. Also, I think frustration where people are just adding you on to emails, and you know, you've been sent an email unsolicited. Can be very, very frustrating. It kind of blocks up the whole email box. And what is interesting is that we know now that the younger generation are not even using emails anymore. They're actually going and just using Messenger. So a lot of businesses are, and it's funny because I've just done a training session in the Barrier, and they were saying that bookings for their restaurants for the younger generation are being done either directly on Facebook or in the Messenger. They won't even go to the booking systems or into email to book. So that is, you know, it's a change that's happening in business. So, yep, all good, Jem.
All good, cool. Now, now you've seen the stats, you know, what people are doing, you know, the most credible influencers and practitioners out in the online world, they've already experimented and said that, so you have a sense of what it can do. So now, how to use it for your business. This is the most frequently asked question that I get from anyone, asking about chatbots. It's like, okay, I kind of get it. I see the concept, but I don't know how I should, how I can apply to my business, So these are some, I would say some, maybe even the most popular ones. So let's just go through the list. So increase subscribers. If you are a blogger, for example, and I'm sure if you're not familiar, but there is this thing called RSS feed, right? So an RSS feed is when you go to their website and you are a follower and you want to increase people, readers, etc., then you ask them to, hey, subscribe to not necessarily your list, but at least subscribe to my blog post for an RSS feed. And every time you publish something new, then they get a notification. Either they choose it through an email, or probably if they've got an RSS reader. So now this is another channel wherein you can increase subscribers. As a blogger, this is fantastic. If you're a media outlet, if you're a publication, this is great. Or if you're a business and you just want to broadcast the latest and educating people, then yes, definitely. Qualifying leads. As an example, there was this, a client of ours, this was, I think, at the beginning of this year, and they had a contest, right? So what happened is, or their problem or challenge was like, okay, we're really popular. This is, we know we're kind of expecting a lot of leads, but not really sure. We've heard about chatbots and they do SMS marketing. So they created 2 marketing campaigns, right? SMS and stuff. And with a chatbot, in terms of qualifying leads, is that contest was to attract people to join and be interested in it. And guess what happened? The results. The chatbots actually got 10,000 plus leads in a week. SMS, I remember the numbers is about 726, if I'm not mistaken, in that week. So just imagine, the SMS still worked, but there were more people actually joining. And just imagine 10,000 leads, and they only had 2 people in the sales team. Can you imagine if they have to go through all that 10,000 and asking and trying to qualify the leads, whether these people are eligible to buy their product, right? It's actually a tour package and such. So what they did with a chatbot is to qualify leads. So they went through, they created a campaign and such, wherein when they wanted to join the contest, is that they go through questions like, hey, how old are you, etc. Which island are you interested in winning or visiting, etc. So all of that marketing lovely data is being asked, and at the end, obviously, it's like, hey, please leave your email address. Thank you very much. And it will tell you if you're eligible or not to win the prize. And after, so the 10,000 that was filtered, and the sales guys now had a very good set of leads. So everything was automatic, and then the human being comes in and focuses on the warm leads. This is my ever favorite example of using a chatbots with qualifying leads. I'm just checking on time. Okay, cool, we're still good. Collect information or feedback. This is pretty much the same as number 2, but you can also create like a poll sort of, and ask them questions through a conversation. And collect information from your, say, your VIP customers, or say your followers if you're an influencer, right? Now, or for training, if you want to, instead of the usual, say, evaluation, what do you call that, Wanita? The survey for after training, feedback?
Yeah, it's a feedback survey.
Feedback survey. So you can also do that with a chatbot. So after the session, then you can definitely just tell them, hey, here you go, please go to chatbot, etc., and they can converse with a chatbot. You can build a sales funnel and nurture your customers. It goes hand in hand. What that means is that, okay, if you're, I don't know if maybe you've experienced it, or if you're a marketer watching this right now, is that you can build sales funnels. What that means, they go through the customer journey, right? So you write emails as usual, and then you educate them and nurture them through the process until obviously they buy from you, right? Now, for a chatbot, you can also do the same. So once you start conversing with them, then instead of sending it through an email, then you can send all your messages through the chatbot or Facebook Messenger as an example. So you can also build that sales funnel and nurture them. Event registration. Well, you've gone through it. You just click, very simple. We ask for an email, sometimes name or other data that you'd like to get. And then you then tell them, great, awesome, here's the link to join the webinar session, for example. If this is a face-to-face, the first one we did with Wanita was in Biz Dojo. This was that 2 months ago, I think, Wanita, or so, right?
Yeah, it was about 2 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, and it was a face-to-face session. So what we did is, so they did go through the registration, and as people came in, so instead of having a piece of paper where we usually did, and hi, what's your name, etc. So what we did is we had a code wherein through Messenger again, and we asked them to sort of scan it, and then that was it. We knew who was in the session. It was pretty fast, and then they went in and then took their seat. We got all their information that's needed. So it can also increase event attendance, because we can build a chatbot in order to send reminders as well. So just today, if you registered, we created a reminder message to go out a day before and an hour before. So because most of people are on mobile and stuff, I mean, instead of email, they'll go, oh, someone messaged me, and then I'm going to look at it. At least people are reminded of the session. Delivering updates and content is similar to what I said. If you were a blogger, if you were a publication, etc. The publications now are starting to deliver their updates or news even through messengers, which is really, really great. We had, believe it was Tracy the last time, Wanita, right? Wherein she said mixed experience, but she loved this app. Well, I think it was a weather app, right? And it was really fun and simple. Yep.
Oh, so Tracy, it was Tracy, and she said that she had signed up to this amazing weather app that gave her the weather every single day, and she really loved it because they did it in such a conversational way and gave her a little bit more information than just an app, telling you what the weather is. So it really helped her plan her day.
Yeah. So, and that was a chatbot. It wasn't just so there was delivering updates on what the weather is based on what, obviously her location and such. Answer FAQs is definitely a biggie. I've been talking to a lot of people, potential clients and clients as well in different industries. And what's funny, I think the funniest is, oh my God, can you just imagine the hours or when we're open is already on the website, or our phone number is already on the website, and everything's on the website, and they still get messages through Messenger, for example, or even emails like, hi, up to what time are you open? Or what time are you open on Saturdays and such? And imagine the number of times, depending on how many customers you've got, obviously, and how popular your, let's say it's a cafe, the time spent to just answer that question. I know it could just be a few seconds or so, but it all adds up. So it's interesting that is the biggest frustration for people that I spoke to with regards to chatbots. So answering FAQs is still the most popular, even though you already have a list on your website. Because the reality is digital behavior is changing, as Wanita mentioned as well, that especially with the younger generation, they just can't be bothered to go through a website, right? They'd rather just ask, done, instant gratification. So increasing number of leads, obviously, I've mentioned this, which is basically same as qualifying leads. I've told you about the story about our client wherein we integrated their chatbot into Infusionsoft, their marketing automation tool, 10,000 versus 726. Recruitment. I told you 1 hour is not enough. I can give you so many other applications of chatbots. recruitment pre-screening. Imagine if you were a recruiter. So here in New Zealand, for example, especially when this was years ago when I was trying to find a job. This was 5 years ago. And I was just wondering, why is it taking so freaking long to just get back to me when I applied for a job, especially when I go to Seek and such, etc. So I did my own digging, networked, and spoke to some of, some recruiters, and they go, well, the reality is, because there's just so many applicants that go through. They just go through CVs or resumes day in and day out, day in and day out. Yes, some big recruitment agencies have software that will filter that. But sometimes it's kind of unfair as well because you're asking a machine to do that. So now, this is a machine. So what's the difference? The recruitment pre-screening is similar to qualifying leads. So and I'm hoping I may have another client who has an immigration advisor type of business here. And he's just so frustrated every day because when he posts a job opening on their Facebook page, and he clearly says how to apply, email such and such, and people are still asking how to apply. So I said, perfect for a chatbot. And now he has to ask all these questions and to filter them and to say, okay, you're shortlisted, or you're not, I'm sorry, you're not qualified, you don't go through the next phase. So that's how we can do, that's what we can do when it comes to chatbots. Let your chatbot do and pre-screen, and it's friendly, it's conversational, you can make that, and then let the applicant feel, not really depressed or frustrated or whatever. At least you've got feedback, instant feedback, instead of waiting for weeks. Wanita, I don't know what your experience in the job market, at least here in New Zealand, it takes months sometimes before they get back to you. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. And I would even go so far as to say that many people complain that they don't even get back to you. So even that first letter, just to come back and say, what, you were unsuccessful, or, we're going through your application, please can you hold on, it's going to take X amount of time. Many people don't get that, and they just kind of feel hopeless and lost. And I think it perpetuates when it happens 3 or 4 times to a person. You can take it personally. But as you said, I mean, a lot of these agencies have a lot of work to do, a lot of CVs to go through depending on the job. And so it is also time consuming for them. And just think, I mean, if you were an agency, and even if somebody applied, if they could get an immediate response back to go, hey, thanks, we got your CV, and we'll be going through it and letting you know the next steps, or whether you were successful or not. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Exactly.
Even that would be like, okay, they got my CV, I'm all good.
Yeah, and that's why some people, and I remember myself, geez, not to, but I know I'm spending too much time with this, but this is a real story and a real challenge for this space, is that I'd literally just call. I mean, my flatmate, for example, just told me, it's like, oh, EB Games hasn't contacted me yet, they said such and such. I just told him, you know what, pick up the phone. But imagine if EB Games actually HR had the chatbot, so he'd know definitely if he actually passed or not, right? Anyway, reminders, I've already told you about that. Book and change appointments. This is great for service-related industries, obviously, like, say I just had, not my nails done, but had my brows done, etc. yesterday. And just imagine if I could just go to Messenger or into the website and a chatbot and just go, instead of calling, or even I had to go there and just check because I didn't know their number. They don't even have a website. I know where they are. And I'm like, oh my God, how can I even check? So instead of me spending that time, if they had, their Facebook page and talk to a chatbot to converse and go, are you available at 4:00 p.m. for waxing my brows and such? And you have that, and then you can change appointments or cancel them. Make reservations. This is for hotels and promotions and contests. I've already told you about the first example earlier. you can get a lot more leads through contests through a chatbot. Okay, I'm just checking the time because I have a lot more to say and I don't want to bore you to death, but there's just a lot of use cases. But here's just from ChatKit. They say in terms of e-commerce, so a lot of people don't think that you can buy stuff on a chatbot. You can now. So 63% of people say that being able to make payments through like a chatbot or messaging app actually matters, right? 63%, that's a huge number. And 47% of the people are open to buying items through a chatbot. Pause for effect. I mean, what else do I have to say, right? Okay, now before I go through this, I'll just talk a little bit about e-commerce. Based on experience, I'm sure some of you may have, if you just Google chatbots, and you will see, and I did a short 8-minute Facebook Live, I think just this week about it, that everybody thinks it's free and easy, right? You Google chatbots and you've got all of these tools, wonderful tools that can create your chatbot for free. In 5 minutes, you can do it and such. Especially if it's e-commerce related, it takes a lot of steps and conversations and different decision trees, as they call it, before you can get someone to buy. And because this is digital, this is human behavior. Imagine you have to craft conversations to make sure that they actually buy, right? Because if the experience is really crap, then there's no point, right? There's no point. Okay, anyway, integrate with other tools. This is great. Some people said, oh my God, can you just imagine 10,000 people? Well, let's keep it simple, 100 people going through the chatbots and they're putting in their name and email. Or is it saved somewhere? Can you imagine? Oh, but I've got my email marketing tool or I've got my CRM. Does that mean I have to copy and paste everything? No. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to hire someone to do data entry and just copy and paste a name and email and put it into your CRM. The good news is with chatbots, it is connected to all these cloud-based tools. So we've done it before, as I've said earlier, with Infusionsoft. You know, all that 10,000 leads just went automatic, real time. Go to Infusionsoft and has its tagging so that they can deliver the correct messaging and nurture them. It could be MailChimp, could be something else, could be Salesforce, doesn't really matter what it is, right? So it's very, very powerful and automated, and will make your life easier. Okay. So that's Ollie, by the way. It says, I can save you time. I've mentioned this already, like FAQs. Anything that's repetitive in your business or process that you don't want to do anymore, you can actually get a chatbot to do that for you, okay? Okay, so where can I have a chatbot? You already know it's Facebook Messenger because I've said that. That's the biggest. But these are some of the platforms that you can create chatbots on. There is Skype, Messages, obviously, middle. You've got Slack if you're familiar with it. Your website, obviously, or you can attach a messenger bot into your website. So when they, and I'll show you later when we go to the little demos, and then Viber. And just FYI, I am doing some research, but I found a little company. It's a startup. I believe they're in Germany. And they have a beta testing a chatbot, you'll first to know here, for Instagram. Wanita, for Instagram. You got to say something. Oh, no. Okay. She just went somewhere. But my question to you now.
Wow.
We've moved on, Wanita. Anyway.
I couldn't speak for a second because we do know that the Instagram API is really, really difficult, you know. Hi, Jal.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It looks like Jem.
Oops. Yeah, she got disconnected. Oh wait, there she is.
I'm still Wanita, you're on mute. We can't hear you. And Angela Clancy's here as well.
Yes, I see Angela's just arrived. Thank you. She arrived a few minutes back. I saw that, but we're carrying on letting you do the session. So go for it, Jen.
Okay, awesome. And I'm sorry, I hope I failed to change the, I don't know if you can see the little sunlight going in. Okay, so my question is, have you ever experienced using a chatbot before? So it's time for you to share your experience if you would like. I've heard so many stories. So is there anyone in the room who would like to kind of share, good and or bad? I'm going to ask that emoji pillow over there with Wanita just behind. I'm going to steal that. So I'm going to see. Yep. Hey, Wanita. So I'm just asking the audience if they've actually experienced using a chatbot before.
So if you want to put it into the chat box, not a chat box. But there's a chat box down at the bottom of the screen. If you hover over the screen, you'll see it'll pop up. And it says chat with the little chat bubble and 3 dots. If you pop it in there and tell me if you have experienced the chatbot, if you have, how's it been? And actually, all of you that actually signed up for this session experienced the chatbot. So Angela says, one thing I don't like about some chats is when you can get out of the loop and request to talk to, where you can't get out of the loop and request to talk to a real person. So do you want to address that, Jan?
Yep, definitely. And that's what I tell my clients as well, is always, first of all, set the expectation that you're actually, tell your customers or whoever uses your chatbot that it is a chatbot. Don't pretend that your chatbot is a human being, because that's another frustration, right? I've heard horror stories saying, oh my God, I've been talking to this thing and stuff, and I thought it was a real human being and just realized it was a chatbot. So it was rather embarrassing for them, or sometimes they felt funny, etc. So when we create conversation flows, we at certain points, we do open it up for a button or anything that would say, hey, at any time, if you want to skip this, or if you want to talk to a human being, go right ahead. And we open up the chat. So it is very important. It's a key element when we create conversation flows, as we call it, in chatbots. Yep. Any other experience, or I'm just mindful of the time because I know we're about 15 minutes before the hour.
No, Jen, just power ahead for the moment.
Okay, and one last thing is, if you are going to create your own chatbots, yes, talk to a human and stuff, but have a chatbot personality like Oli. So that's Oli, by the way. That is Conversology's resident bot. So you'll see more of him in the future, definitely. So yeah, so always have, and I've got my own chatbot, personality. If you go to my business page, I'm the first, well, not person, but my bot is going to greet you, and it's called Social Jam, right? Okay, so Social Jam is just there waiting.
Jen, we've got another question, or just a comment, which came back from you use chatbots. Red has said yes. He particularly likes the fact that with the frequently asked questions, however, he's still trying to figure out how to do it. So
okay. Yeah. It's all that. Here's the hint. It's all about how you create a conversation flow. And I'm not talking about the technicalities or function of it. You can hire a developer out there and talk to the IT guys. No disrespect whatsoever. Sure, they can build a really robust chatbot. But where we come in is really, putting in the human back to the conversations. It's all about conversations, and it has to be human-like, so to speak, right? Not too freaking technical and so rigid. Right, okay. Because we don't have much time, but these are, we will be sending you a copy of this presentation, so don't worry about it. You can do this outside of this presentation. So this is Amy That's the personality. For AMI, if you're from Auckland or from New Zealand, you know AMI, they're into insurance and stuff. So they did this last year, and you can, I think it's still, Amy's still alive, and they were just testing out Amy, their chatbot, so that they can answer frequently asked questions, which I believe is more claiming insurance, right? This is GrowthBot, one of my favorites. I'm a subscriber. This is just a sort of a publication. And every week I get a funny marketing cartoon, but you can also ask it, hey, what are the marketing trends in Google AdWords or Google or in Facebook and such? And if it has the data, then it will tell you. So it's awesome. And of course, include rich media, which is video, images, audio. It doesn't have to be all text. Make it more interesting. You know, you can plug in or put in a video for yourself, or let's say a really nice image, some GIFs, etc. But it depends on the tone and style and tone of your business as well. My advice is, if you're a financial company and people trust you and they know the tone is formal and such, then use that. Don't go, oh, cool, we've got a chatbot and we gotta, you know, be hip, etc. Unless you're rebranding, don't do it, because people are just gonna go, what is happening here, right? Okay. And chat like a human. It's all about trust. Some would call it scripts, but don't be too formal, etc. Because that happens is when it's too formal, it's like, oh, I'm reading from a website, right? The best practice here is, how would you respond if it was you talking to the person? That's the key, okay? Right, okay. Big question. Yes, Wanita?
We've actually, Giles asked a really, really good question. Well, and she has said, I love chatbots because they're always in a good mood, but how do chatbots address an angry customer?
Ah, okay. Angry customer, again, it depends. Let's think of a use case. So that's customer service. Normally, if it's an angry customer, I would still say, would rather just talk to a human, because you're talking about emotions now. So you can sort of pre-qualify them, just really short bursts of asking what it is that they're upset about, so that when they get the information enough, then they send it to a live agent. Because sometimes even a live agent or a live customer, live person behind the computer and such, I mean, they're humans already, and they still kind of make mistakes, right? So it's very hard. That's a tricky question. It's a really, really good question, but I think you can lead them in a way wherein, just keep it short, wherein to ask them why they're upset, and if it is a robust AI chatbot, then you can gather some data, so it's more facts than a live agent that might make a mistake. Because sometimes people get upset when you give them the wrong information. I don't think that's going to happen with a chatbot anyway. I hope that answered. I know it's kind of wishy-washy, but I hope that actually sort of addresses that question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So should I have all the bells and whistles, you know, like NLP, machine learning, AI? Everyone is like, oh, can you do something similar to Google Assistant, wherein it calls to, obviously even Google's still starting to develop that. That was just a demo. That was a concept. My point is this, okay? And this is, I'll answer that question through another story and experience. Is I've got someone from a medium-sized company here and goes, hey, I love your chatbot. It answered my question. I didn't go through heaps of buttons, and all good, and it was done in less than 5 minutes. Awesome. I want you to build a chatbot for us similar to that. And said, oh, cool, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I've been to this, I won't say the brand, but a very big, well-known automotive brand who has all the bells and whistles and stuff. And he just got frustrated. It was too complicated. There were too many buttons, and it felt like he was going through an IVR on the phone where you go, press 1, press gazillion 10. and you'll never get an answer, right? So question here, no, you don't have to have the bells and whistles, not yet. Okay, because it does take time for a chatbot to actually learn all the little things and conversations from your customers and gather that data. That's why it's called machine learning, and then respond in a human-like way, which is NLP, right? Cool. We need to end soon, but these are the things that I think you should focus on. If there was anything that you need to take away from this session, is answering that question. Customer experience is still key. I think I've said this numerous times during the session. My suggestion is, if you have an offline process in your customer journey, so to speak, on your funnels or your customer experience service process, let's replicate that first and put it into a chatbot, because your customers are comfortable with it and it's just delivering it in another way, right? And then keep it simple. I've said this as well, and provide the right solution and conversation to customers, right? And your chatbot's going to be great. Okay, demo time. For those who this is your first time, if you okay, let's go. I will see if I can go to, I don't want to show but if you go to Facebook Messenger, this is called, it's similar to a QR code, so it's called a messenger code. If you go to Messenger and then in your home Messenger, there's an icon which is people. So if you click on or tap on that, and on the left upper corner, which looks like it's right here, you have to go left, it says scan code. And once you tap on that, you'll see a circle, right? And go scan code. And then because you're seeing this, so just put your phone, and you don't have to press anything on your phone. And all you have to do is just wait for it to trigger. So what's going to happen is it's going to trigger our welcome message in our menu and so on Conversology. So that's one. What's great about using a code is for to trigger a chatbot is that we can create numerous types of messenger codes per campaign or per flow. What that means, I was talking to someone from Australia, and he has a shop, a brick and mortar shop, and he's I believe he's using this in his business card. And I told him, look, do you know that you can use this in your packages and stuff for promotions and whatsoever, or Easter egg time, you know, find the Easter egg messenger code or whatever, and it will have different conversations. So yeah, so if you can try that. So again, go to your phone, click on, sorry, I keep on saying click, but tap on people, and then there's a scan code there icon, and then just, you don't have to click on anything, but that's going to trigger a chatbot, right? Now this is our ever favorite, which is comments. We know that on Facebook, organic reach is dying or almost dead. But this is what we created for Wanita, and this is just basically her checklist for Facebook marketing tips and tricks. So Wanita goes around the country and Australia as well, training small business owners and and medium-sized and corporates. So instead of providing them a piece of paper or even have them download a PDF, so during the session it's interactive, and she can go, and I've seen it, she's used it a lot of times when you can see more. And how this works is that we set it up wherein there's the word checklist. So that's like the keyword. So anyone who engages on that post and they type in checklist, then they will trigger the chatbot. And the purpose of that chatbot is to say, hey, thanks a lot. Can we get your email address, for example, etc. Awesome, Jam, thank you. And they get the PDF version of the tips, of the checklist, sorry. Anything to add, Wanita? What's your experience like when this was January and it's been like 6-7 months. How has that worked for you?
Well, it's worked really well. And I mean, if you do want to know how it's worked, you can actually go on to this particular post and you can see all the comments there where people have typed in checklist, and it's been really interactive. Obviously, not every single person will do it straight away, but it is a great way to connect when you are in a session, and you're not going to necessarily get to see everyone or get to talk to everyone. It's a way of connecting straight away so that you can follow up afterwards. So it's really fantastic.
Yeah. And I'll just go through this. This is what I meant about you can integrate your Facebook Messenger chatbot as a chat into your website. So this is just a screen grab of what we've got on the website. You can change whatever that message is, which says, "Hi, how can we help you?" And again, doesn't have to be the generic welcome message. It could be any conversation flow you'd like. You can even say, for example, if anyone is on the pricing page and you wanted to deliver a different flow about pricing, then when they click on chat now, it's going to not tell you about the welcome message, but it's going to start a chat bot saying, "Hey, do you have any questions about pricing? Let me help you in such and such." So instead of a salesperson being on there live, you've got someone doing that for you. So that's awesome. Now, this is an example of the lead magnet bot. I know we don't have much time, but that's a bit.ly link. So as a gift for everyone who's here, even when you access the recording as well, if you do go through this link, it will trigger Ollie to greet you again. And it is a simple PDF. It's our first infographic to show you basically a one-pager to let you know how social chatbot marketing, is what we call it, can help grow your business, right? And believe it or not, there is such a thing as a landing page bot. So instead of having a landing page with your usual stuff, you can then create a conversation as if you're talking to someone. So it's a plain one like this. I mean, you can have links on top as well. So this is sort of like replicating our website. But instead of us putting in the usual stuff, so it starts out with a greeting. And if you look at this, just in case, let's say, oh, I don't have time, and then I have to go back to the same page again, instead of starting all over again, it detects obviously IP address and stuff, etc., and it shows you, hey, it seems like you've already been around this site. Do you want to continue or start again? So that's awesome. So it feels like you're talking to someone and you're not just being pushed with text and videos and stuff and it's all one way. Now it's a two-way conversation on a landing page. So this is awesome. And e-commerce, this is just an example. Depending on the currency and country you're in, that's where you find out which of the tools that need to be used. I remember, yes, Wanita did tell me earlier to kind of discuss this a little bit just quickly, but you may know that there are some chatbot tools out there that you can start. We know exactly which one to use if you're going for e-commerce and if you want to build something that's more robust versus just the marketing side of things. So yeah. And I will just end with this. Gartner, by 2020, over 50% of medium to large enterprises will have deployed chatbots. That's 2 years from now. So you as small business owners is your chance to actually use this for your business. I can go on and on, but we only have a few minutes left. Wanita, are we still going for Q&A or?
Yeah, so if anybody does want to ask any questions, now's your opportunity. You can absolutely ask the questions, but if you do have any questions, please go to the Online Business Academy page. I've just put up a little post, so go and ask questions on the page as well, and we can answer them for you. Two things that I do want to say. So moving forward, there are 3 ways of you setting up your chatbot. The first way is you go and try and do it yourself. Great. If you are not a technical person, I suggest then you get somebody like Jem to help you out. I always use the analogy. I had somebody that came to me once and said to me they need a web developer. referred them to a web developer, and they came back and said they didn't use the web developer. However, they were exceptionally proud that they had built their own website. And so I asked a few questions. I said to the person, how long did it take you to build your website? They said to me 100 hours. I said to them, how much do you get paid an hour for your normal work? They said to me $100 an hour. And I said to them, so basically you paid $10,000 for your website. And that's the way that you've got to look at it. So for you, if you can't do this stuff, get some experts to help you out to do it. It makes a huge difference in your business, and you can get on with doing what you do best, making the money and, you know, paying an expert. So you can do it yourself. You can get someone like Jem to do it for you. And in the future, in the next month or so, we are actually going to be running workshops for anybody wanting to learn how to build chatbots as well. So if you are wanting to learn how to build a chatbot, we will run a workshop on it as well. So Jem, I know that you have some packages that you do want to show people and offer. You're welcome to do it here. And I thank you for being a guest on here and helping us with this. So go for it. You want to flick those packages and just take us through them.
Cool. Okay. I am trying to click on it and it's, there you go. Okay. So we do have two packages. And these packages are really for those who don't have chatbots yet or tried but failed. So we come in so we can do it in a matter of like a week or even in days sometimes, depending on the complexity. So yeah, you can actually have your chatbot by next week, believe it or not, and start it. So there's the starter package. What is the starter package? This is your usual standard welcome message. I've shown you some screen shots of it wherein we can put it onto your website, or even if they go to your page, instead of the usual auto reply of Facebook, which is really boring, then you can have a chatbot greet them with, you know, with a smile. There's a gallery of services or products, FAQs, or any key information that you would like your customers or users or visitors, so to speak, if they land on your website or on Messenger, for example. For Wanita, it was like services and the schedule of events, because that's important for her, and of course the social media conference. For us, it's our, you know, other services that we offer. If you're a retail company, then it could be your top, you know, I serve chocolates and hot chocolate or whatever, or dresses and shoes and such, right? And we also recommend the conversation flow. So that's a starter package just to get you going, to make sure that your chatbot is working properly. Now there is the growth package, obviously. This is where when you're ready, you've got your first chatbot, or if your intention is to increase leads, to grow your business, I want people to, I want to get more subscribers, etc., or I want to send them lead magnets and such for lead generation. That's where the growth package is. That's obviously everything on the starter package. It integrates, inclusive of this planner packages, you can integrate it into a CRM, email marketing. This is where everything's automated. Goodbye copy and paste. We can integrate a Facebook ad to trigger a chatbot. So, and I'm actually going to do this with one of, you know, help Wanita to do it as well, etc. Right? We can create a marketing campaign, as I've said, to subscribe for a lead magnet, a gem. I want it to be placed on a landing page, or I want a messenger code like earlier, or I want to do it through a Facebook ad. So these are what we call entry points for them to trigger the chatbot and start the conversation. Now, the price, okay. The original price for the starter package, honestly, is $800. This is New Zealand dollars, but because we are partnered with Toba, it's less 100, so it's $700. So for $700, you have the starter package, and we can do it in a week, maybe even less, right? If we have all the content and such, all good, all done, and we'll be there to help you out. The growth package is $1,500, but again, as a partner with Toba, it is, you know, slash it to less 300, so it's $1,200 now, and you have the works. You know, you can have your marketing campaigns, you've got a recommendation from our team, etc., all that fun stuff, and you're ready to go and increase leads and so on. But just for today, because we are, Wanita and I spoke, etc. So we really want people to get started with chatbots, and we've already offered this to a few of our clients just this week. And you will actually get the growth package for the price of the starter package. So that's actually an awesome deal, which is basically sort of half the price, right?
I was going to say, that's an amazing deal. Seriously.
I know. But hey, our point here is our team and I, my team and I, we're all about the customer experience, and we want to make it more friendly, and so that we can help your business. That's our goal. That's really our goal, and through chatbots we can do that with you. All right. So if you are interested, I'm not so sure where the chat is, but I do have a link that I will send. Of course, I can't find the link.
Drop it in the chat. If you hover on the screen, the chat will pop up at the bottom, and if you, whoops.
Yep. Sorry about that. Still trying. I just can you still see my screen? No.
Yeah. Well, no, you've pulled us off, so that's all good. Now we can see Joel and me and you. So that's pretty awesome.
All right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. So I can just put it in the chat box, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot find.
If you hover on the screen.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
At the bottom, yeah.
Got it. So that's the link if you're interested to get started. We have a lot of inquiries at the moment, and the projects are coming in way fast. And this is the truth. It's not, it's not a tactic or anything, but to be honest, we can only accept probably around 10 clients, per week. So that we don't want to go over that, because we want to make sure that when we build the chatbots for all of these clients during the week, is that it's quality. My team can spend more time with the client. I spend with each of them and creating and suggesting the right chatbot strategy. So it's not just about building something. You can go to Fiverr and have someone build it for you, but you don't even know if it's going to work or not. The reason we are good practitioners, I would say, is because I've been in the digital space for so long. So I understand more or less digital human behavior, and I've been in the customer service space as well, so I kind of get it. Yeah. And I've got an awesome team behind me to support our clients. So yes.
You know what, Jem, I think, and this is some of the experience that I've actually been watching and seeing, and I will share it with everyone here. I think the important thing is it's not just about building the chatbot. The important thing is about understanding the processes and the combination of how the customer will experience you. And so having that experience is really, really the key here, which is what your team brings to the party. And obviously I have experienced you firsthand, so I can actually talk genuinely that that's what it is. I've had 2 experiences of chatbots just, the last two weeks. The one was somebody that came through on a video. So I messaged them, and they popped up on this lovely video, and they went, "Hi, I am at this conference and I'm doing XYZ." And I thought, wow, that's so cool. They're letting me know that at this conference. And about 10 minutes later, I got this next video popping up unsolicited. So I didn't say anything to them. I just had another video come up, and it went, "Oh, you know what? I'm learning so much at this conference. I'm standing here at the store," and they had this little video of them at a store. And then I popped in a question. I went, "Oh, that's really intriguing. I have to speak to you today if it's possible." And the next minute, this video came up, which was completely not conference. The guy in a completely different outfit, and it was him today. And he was going, "Oh, hi, Wanita. I am just busy working on something. I will, have a chat with you." And I went, "Oh, okay, this is weird." So it just confused it. And then the other experience that I had is somebody that has set up chatbots But what's happening is the chatbot is literally sending you something every single day, again unsolicited. So there's no words that are clicking off the chatbot, to the point that 5 days later I've actually unsubscribed to the chatbot, and that's what you don't want to have happen. So you really have to set up the chatbot from a customer experience perspective, and that's what your team brings to the party. And that's the difference between employing somebody that just sets up chatbots to somebody that actually understands the whole experience. So there you go. Angela, thank you so much. We'll send you the replay so that you can actually see it. So thank you very much for that. Great.
Yep, thank you.
Jen?
Sorry, say that again. No, thanks, Wanita.
Did that cover it all for you?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. Perfect.
Wonderful. Well, so if you are interested, please, and if you're not, but you know somebody that is, please put them on to Jam. Let them know about it. Let them know that you've referred them. They've come from this this webinar. We obviously do want to track and know how many people are coming through. So if you do, let us know. And thank you very much for being here, Jam. Thank you for your time. Such a pleasure always having your experience on. And for everybody that joined and made the time to join today, thank you so much. It was lovely seeing you. Any questions, just go to the Online Business Academy and go and ask the questions. And we'll see you soon. Red, thank you so much. Nancy, thank you so much. Jel, thank you. Lovely seeing you again. And we'll see you all again. Bye.